glorious, sweeping, open countryside and over 400 miles of rugged, untamed coastline. The historic town of Falmouth has royal connections stretching back to the mid-16th century. Under the gaze of Pendennis Castle, built by Henry VIII, the town boasts the third deepest natural harbour in Western Europe. And to this day, it's a major contributor to Falmouth's economy. Steeped in nautical history, the news of Lord Nelson's death was landed here. Moving inland and nestling on the banks of the River Helford, the village of Gweek lies within an area of outstanding natural beauty. It's been a thriving port since Roman times, and today is home to the Cornish Seal Sanctuary, where over 40 abandoned pups a year are saved and rehabilitated before they're returned back to the wild. So whether it's the dramatic coastline with glorious beaches or stunning open countryside, this county really seems to have it all.
Cornwall's rich heritage includes its very own language. In 2009, Cornish was put on a list of extinct languages by the UN. That's since been amended to critically endangered, with more than 500 people now claiming fluency. And when it comes to talking house prices in Cornwall, the average for a detached home is around about $277,000, about $22,000 below the national average. So what's calling today's house buyers to Cornwall? Let's find out.
Retired maths teacher Roger and his acupuncturist wife Annie met one another online. They've now been together for 6 years and got married in 2012. The couple had been living in London, but have recently moved to Nottinghamshire.
The reason that we're here is that the house sold terribly, terribly quickly, and we weren't quite sure where we wanted to go, so we came here to Bingham in Nottinghamshire so that we could just take stock. We chose this place because it's where my family are from.
Annie was a Londoner for over 3 decades, but believes the big smoke has changed so much in that time. So she decided to sell her long-serving family home.
There are a number of reasons why it feels like the right time. One is that it's got so expensive in London, my children can't afford to live there, and I'm not sure I want to live in a place where young people can't afford to be.
Annie's had time to come to terms with the idea of moving. And London is getting extremely busy. It's growing outwards and it's growing over the top of the places that you used to live in.
Turning their backs on the city, our house hunters are now setting their sights on Cornwall, a location which evokes very happy memories for Roger.
Ever since I was a young lad, my parents would take us to Cornwall for summer holiday. Every year, 2 weeks in a caravan. And I think if you've ever been on the coast, it gets in the blood. The smell of sea air and ozone, fantastic.
Hankering after some stability and a quieter life, the couple are planning on enjoying their current hobbies as well as taking up some new ones.
I'm looking forward when we move to playing more golf, just having more time together, free time, getting dogs, walking dogs, just having time not to be working so hard.
And I would like to find some lovely country pub down there. And the pasty shop. Beautiful.
All they need now is to find the home that will accommodate Annie's 4 visiting sons and help the couple ease into their Cornish life.
I'm frightened that I won't find a house that I loved as much as the one that we had in London. And I'm not going to feel really happy about moving to Cornwall until I find the right place. If you're able to kind of help us find the right property, I'll be fine, as long as you're with me.
I think to buy a house together is really important because it's another step forward in our relationship. And I think depending on each other's tick lists, whoever gets the most ticks, it will decide who's the boss, really.
Roger and Annie have asked us to target our search in the beautiful countryside surrounding Falmouth. I'm catching up with our 2 buyers to discover a little bit more about the details of their move.
Roger, Annie, welcome to Cornwall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what's pulled you to this gorgeous corner of the world?
Well, I think with a Cornish surname like I've got, somewhere a few generations back, there was, you know, family living here, and it just seems that it's in the blood. I just like the sea and the fishing, and the pasties.
And the pasties. And what are we looking for today?
Well, ideally, I think, you know, having left London, I'm hoping that we can get somewhere that's really stunning, that all my friends and family will want to come and visit and stay in. So a couple of bathrooms important, I think. Yeah, I'd like open fire or, you know, a sort of wood burner. What everybody craves, I think, when they leave London, you know.
I'm sensing cosy is what you're after.
Definitely cosy.
And what kind of style would you like?
I like property with character, a bit quirky. My absolute nightmare would be a new build sort of square box. It's a bit soulless for me, so I like, you know, original flagstone floors and, yeah, a bit cosier, but unfortunately no low beams for Roger.
No.
OK, yes, 6 foot something.
Yeah. Nice established garden would be nice as well, a bit like the one we're in. Not so big.
How many acres are we looking for? Anything else, Roger, that you'd like to add to that list?
If there's a pub nearby, it wouldn't be a problem.
And are you looking to be part of the community, or would we like somewhere more rural, really getting away from it?
We definitely wouldn't want to be isolated. We would perhaps join a golf club together. I'd like to join the fishing club and just try and, you know, join in and add bits to whatever's going on down here.
So let's talk price. How much are you looking to spend?
I think ideally we'd hope to find somewhere for sort of £750,000, but if we found the perfect place and maybe if it had some potential for income from sort of letting, we could go up as high as 875.
Great, let's get searching, come on.
Brilliant.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
With a budget of around £750,000, but with some room to stretch for the right house, Roger and Annie are looking for a property that offers a quieter life, but they still have some important needs. They want a character property with a spacious living area for friends and family to visit, a minimum of 2 bathrooms and an established large garden. They're also keen to be part of the local community. We've found some fantastic properties to tempt them with, and at each one, I'll be asking them to guess the price before I reveal it. One will be our mystery house, which could well put a new design on their search.
How important is it that I find you somewhere friends and family can come to visit easily?
Vital.
OK.
I'm only going to be happy moving here to Cornwall if I know that friends, family will want to come and stay.
I think they should want to come just to see Annie, really, not just because we're in a nice area.
I can see why you married him. He's a romantic, isn't he?
The first house is located close to the village of St Keverne, south of Falmouth. St Keverne has been inhabited for many thousands of years. In the late 60s, nearly 50,000 flint tools were unearthed, all dating back to around 5,500 years BC. As well as amenities, including a post office and pubs, the village features a church that dates back to the 15th century. And our first, rather youthful house is just 4 miles from all this history.
So here we are, Roger, Annie, Property One. First impressions.
Absolutely fantastic view. That is amazing.
That is gorgeous, isn't it?
Water in the front.
Yep.
Further water further on.
You've
Fields.
got St Anthony, the church there, little mooring, the yacht club behind.
Absolutely beautiful view. Fantastic.
And
Yeah.
Annie, what about the house?
Well, it looks a little small, but it's hard to tell from the outside sometimes, isn't it?
It
I want to
certainly
see
is.
inside.
Shall we take a look in the house?
Yes, please.
All right.
Built in the 1950s, this house comes with commanding views over Gillen Creek and out of Falmouth Bay. We're entering through a side door which leads directly into a small hall with a utility room and cloakroom either side. From here, we can access the main house.
So here we go, straight into the kitchen, which opens up into the living dining area.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Very stylish. All the wood and surfaces. Looks nice.
It does feel a little small to me at the moment, but I'm liking the way it leads on.
Because entertaining was so important, wasn't it? Having that sort of kitchen, living space.
I mean, I think what's really working is I really like the idea of being able to be in here cooking, but Roger potentially not being far away or other people being there.
And you can take these shelves down,
Do you
these
know, I think
cupboards.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just really
might.
open this area up.
Yeah.
Should we take a look at more of the house?
Absolutely.
Come this way.
Thank you.
The kitchen leads directly to a good-sized dining area, which opens out into the main sitting room.
Which is lovely and light and bright. And you've got your lovely wood burner, Annie.
That's lovely.
So how do you feel? What do you think? Would this work as entertaining space for you?
Definitely. This is a really good size, actually, for us.
And I think you'll just about fit my TV in that corner.
A bit of an angle. Very much a
You're such a
downside.
boy.
Beautiful.
And do you like the idea of this opening straight out onto the
Very
patio?
much.
And all the birds that are coming to feed on those feeders are just magnificent for us.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great. Shall we see more?
Cosy. Yes,
Let's.
please. Yeah.
Lead on.
The ground floor also includes the main entrance hall, off which is a family shower room and 2 double bedrooms. One with great views over surrounding countryside, and another currently being used as an office. Stairs take us up to a good-sized landing, and bedroom 3 complete with double aspect windows and its own bath and shower room. Then down the hallway is the final room.
Here we are in the master bedroom. Come on in and have a look.
Okay.
So this master bedroom ensuite. What do you think?
I think it's lovely. And to be on this corner of the house where you've got the view out of 2 windows is really good. Really
And
good.
Annie, to your taste?
This is definitely big enough.
Yeah.
I love that view. I really love that view. Yeah.
So for you, this would work as a master bedroom, all the built-in wardrobe space, the ensuite, the views.
Yeah,
Lovely.
that would work.
Really nice.
It looked small from the outside. I'm really impressed with how it's laid out. It's working much better inside than I thought it would from the view outside.
With encouraging feedback all round regarding the inside of this house, we're heading outside. A driveway leads to a double garage. Then at the back, we find a generous, well-stocked garden with mature trees and shrubs. And despite the inclement coastal weather, for Roger and Annie, this is what it's all about. Uninterrupted, breathtaking views over Gillen Creek and Falmouth Bay.
So even in the rain, that's a pretty good view, isn't it?
That's
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Absolutely brilliant.
Really lovely.
Shall we talk money?
OK.
What do you both think the house is worth?
Well, I think we're probably talking about 820.
Oh, goodness. My hope would be that it would actually be under budget so that I'd have enough money to make some changes, make it mine, around the 700 mark.
This property is currently on the market for £650,000.
I could do all the
Crikey.
changes I wanted.
You could!
That's amazing.
That's great. That's
Music
really
serious?
good.
Oh,
Very much
Beautiful.
so. Yeah, lovely.
Absolutely beautiful.
Do you want to take another look around now you have
That'd
that
be good.
figure in your
Yeah.
mind?
Yeah.
You do that.
We'll make the changes now. Thank you very much.
I'll catch up with you in a moment.
Cheers.
Thank you.
This mid-20th century property comes in massively under budget. With an open-plan kitchen diner, living room and 4 bedrooms, this house has the space and facilities for visiting guests. Outside, it has a large established garden and the bonus, of course, those breathtaking views.
Yeah.
That's nice. The little angles and things.
Yeah, without
Make it
being
interesting.
right over the top of you.
Yeah, that's not
Same
bad.
view.
Not bad feng shui.
It's not
Good.
bad. It's not
Really
bad.
good. Yeah.
I was surprised the drive up through the estate that all the houses were totally different, and you get no view of the sea until you turn into the drive, and then you've got that view of, well, it's just the most amazing view.
I didn't walk in and think, oh my God, this is the place for me. But as we explored it and when we saw the view, it's definitely grown on me. So there's a lot to think about with this property, I think, yeah, in terms of I'd have to spend quite a lot of money to make it into the kind of place that I'd like to live.
I think it will take a lot of beating. It was really special.
I think Roger's really in love with it, which is reflected in the price that he guessed, and I think he'd probably be happy to buy it and move in tomorrow.
So you had a good look round.
We have, yes.
Ready for more?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Do we have to?
Right, the adventure continues.
During the 19th century, Cornwall's tin mining industry was booming, but a collapse in price meant that by the 1920s, this profitable business was gone. However, one legacy from this great industrial past lives on in the form of the humble Cornish pasty. Once a staple food for miners, it's now a takeaway treat, and Roger is a really big fan. We arranged for our couple to meet baker Charlie Choke, whose family firm have been making this Cornish delicacy in Falmouth for over 60 years.
So why did so many miners choose this particular snack to take with them underground?
It was very easy to eat underground, and it was cheap for the wives to make.
And a full dinner?
Yeah.
And how has the making of pasties changed over the years?
Well, I think lots of things have changed because of machinery. Like we know we're on a roll-out pasta by hand. Potatoes and things were peeled by machine.
Right.
But basically, they're virtually the same.
Much of Charlie's pasty making is done by hand, including the all-important crimping, which seals in the ingredients. The whole process starts with a pastry.
Now, as you roll it out,
Yeah.
move the pastry, not the rolling pin.
Yeah.
You see I'm getting it nice and round?
Yeah.
Thin pastry is very, very important.
But it looks a little easier than it actually is.
Right, move the
Roll
pastry,
it.
not the rolling pin.
Turn it over, just gently roll it.
Mine's sticky.
Put a bit of effort in, put some weight on it. Use some of your excess weight.
I'm steady.
The raw vegetable ingredients are simply potatoes, onions and Swedes.
So that's not been cooked at all?
No, nothing's
Yeah.
cooked at all.
Right,
It's all raw. There you are.
okay.
Squeeze together. 2 reasons. Makes it nice and dry.
Yeah.
And it also makes it very compact.
Okay, squeeze together like that.
Put some in there. Drop it on there.
The meat is locally sourced diced beef.
You can put too much meat in a pasty, and then it becomes a meat pie. But you'll put your own into what you want.
Okay,
And put it from end to end.
Very dainty.
yeah.
Add a bit of seasoning,
Gently pull,
Pull
bring together and squeeze.
together,
And
squeeze.
down you go, each side. Keeping it all in there. Just gentle, be gentle with it. Pinch. Okay?
Yeah.
Shove it in.
Here we go.
Shut the door.
and after just 25 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, this great Cornish delicacy is ready.
Oh, aye, aye.
Yeah. There you go.
Beautiful.
Here you go, honey. There's your pasty. That's how you eat it, like
Is
that.
it?
That's how you
Lovely,
Cornish
thank you.
pasty.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Bit hot
There you are.
later.
Well done, son.
Well done,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
The Cornish pasty may have fed an army of miners, but will Roger and Annie strike gold with their own property search as their house hunt continues? Our second property is located in the village of Stithians, around 8 miles northwest of Falmouth. Situated in a valley with a thriving community, at the heart of the village is this 14th century church. Nearby, there's a general store, a village hall, and music to Roger's ears, not one, but 2 pubs. To the west lies Stithians Lake, considered one of the country's best inland sailing and fishing locations. The house we've come to see is just a short stroll from the centre of the village.
So here we are, property number 2.
Wow.
Annie, it's a big smile. It's a big, big smile.
That's much more visually appealing than the first one for me, I have to say, from the outside. That does look stunning. Really good.
That smile says we should get inside, is
We
that right?
should. Yes,
Come
please,
on,
I'd
let's
love
do
to.
it.
This Grade 2 listed former Miller's Cottage has Cornish charm by the bucket load. The main part of this granite-built house dates from the mid-17th century, with a sympathetically constructed extension going up in the 1990s. Entering through the door of the utility and boot room gives us direct access into the spacious kitchen and breakfast room.
OK, so in you come.
Oh, look.
You just want to run and hug it. I can
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Now, there is a woman in love.
no. Blimey.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's divine.
Look at the floor.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Original granite, which they discovered when they refurbed this section of the house. Flagstone floors. The granite from the extension on the kitchen, that's locally sourced granite.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And a kitchen table that opens up to seat 10. So you can have all your boys,
Yeah.
their partners, everyone. This is a family room.
Really lovely.
You're almost speechless.
Feel the warmth.
Oh, it's beautiful. Really beautiful.
What are you feeling right now? What do you think?
I feel quite good because that's exactly what Annie's looking for. That is exactly what she's looking for.
Yeah.
This beautiful bespoke kitchen comes complete with a walk-in larder featuring slate shelving.
I love it. Yeah, I really, really love it. It's cosy. Not
It's nice. It is nice.
Nice.
Well, Annie likes it.
It's brilliant.
Let's show you both more. There's lots to see. Come this way.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Annie is almost ready to move in. I think Roger might need a little more convincing. Maybe the adjacent sitting room will swing it.
You have this lovely, cosy living room space with log burner again, which I know was
Yeah.
something that you were after.
Lovely.
So warm.
It's got that
warm.
cosy
Yeah.
cottage feel to it.
Yeah.
Lovely. It's a good
Yeah.
size. It's
It's nice.
perfect.
I was so struck by the view in the first property that I'm finding, looking out the windows, it's totally different. It takes a little bit of time. But certainly the inside is really brilliant.
I think the outside's more
Unbelievable.
important to Roger and the inside's important to me. So you know, this is.
Can we put the two together?
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the rest of the inside first,
Right.
and then let me see if I can tempt you with what it has to offer outside.
Brilliant.
Great.
Let me show you the
Carry on.
way.
Also on the ground floor is a utility room and a double bedroom complete with ensuite shower room. A stairway from the kitchen leads up to the first floor landing with storage potential. There's also a family bathroom and 2 further double bedrooms, one of which is currently being used as an office. And at the other end of the hallway is the biggest bedroom.
And here we are, this way into the master bedroom, which doesn't have an ensuite, but they have looked into getting one built into that corner.
Right.
And it wouldn't be too much of a problem to add that in, which is pretty much the only thing you'd possibly need to do to the property.
Yeah, it's a nice size.
Could you imagine just moving in?
Yeah, absolutely. Could move straight in here, definitely. Yeah, nothing to.
I'd
be
write to you.
Right, come on. Let me show you the garden.
I'm getting the feeling that Roger is still not convinced by this former miller's cottage. So we're heading outside and into the garden to see if I can win him over and get a change of heart. Sitting in nearly 2.5 acres of land, which includes a separate paddock and woodland, the property is approached over a granite driveway, flanked by the River Kennel and a pretty stream that runs through the garden. This back area boasts outbuildings and a terraced lawn.
2 tool sheds, workbenches, all powered up,
That'd be useful for Annie.
and this gorgeous property.
Indeed.
Let's get down to business. How much do you think this property's worth?
Well, I'll go first again because I was rubbish last time. If we came here first, I'll go for 750. But knowing what the other one was, I'd bring this down to 700.
Okay. Annie, what do you think?
Oh, I think more. I do. My guess is going to be 800,000.
This property is currently on the market for £645,000. Does that change things a little bit? Or
I
would
was
you-
in love with it anyway.
Do you want to have a look round again, knowing that now?
Well, we have got 3 votes. I have one, Annie has one, and then Annie has a spare one. So we'll have another look round.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
£105,000 under budget, this Grade 2 listed former miller's cottage seems to give Annie that cosy feel she craves. There are 4 good-sized bedrooms and a spacious kitchen, while outside offers a stream flowing through the garden and some 2.5 acres of land.
Your own meadow.
Complete with a polytunnel.
What are you growing there?
Strawberries?
Really lovely jubbly. Come on, let's get back.
Okay. I love this house. I loved it from the moment we first saw it. I think it's gorgeous. I think that the people have done a really good job with it.
As we drove down the lane, we were coming down into a dell with hills all the way around the outside, compared to the house number one that had that superb view from the top of the hills over the coast and everything. So it wasn't for me.
I don't think Roger's quite as taken with this house as I am, so I might have to, yes, work some magic on my husband.
Hello? Have you had a good look round now?
Yes.
Everywhere.
Property too.
Everywhere.
You're
I
still
even got her out of the kitchen.
You're still in love with that kitchen, aren't you? That range was
I
just...
am, yeah.
Well, lots to think about.
Yeah.
And of course, we've got the mystery house tomorrow still to come. So don't make your mind up quite yet.
Okay.
Husband and wife Roger and Annie from London are relocating to Cornwall with a budget of £750,000 in search of a quieter country life. We've shown them two very different houses that could give them a rural base without losing that sense of community. But with Roger and Annie pulling in different directions, our breathtaking mystery house might just unite them.
You're speechless, Annie, from the south.
Speechless, it's amazing.
And I'll be putting my horticultural skills to the test at spectacular Cornish gardens.
Get it nice and tight, that's ideal.
Okay. Oh, wow. So what a great day searching we had yesterday. Finding property 1 with those breathtaking views that Roger fell in love with, and finding property 2 with those interiors that Annie adored. Where does that leave us today, though? And the mystery house? Well, it certainly has the high-spec interiors that should get Annie's approval, and there's definitely one particular aspect of the location that I know Roger's going to love. So how are you feeling about today in the mystery house?
I'm not worried, actually. I mean, part of the reason for sort of selling the house in London was to have a big adventure, go outside my comfort zone, experience new things. So I quite like the idea of being put outside of my comfort zone. So I might change my mind when we get there.
The mystery house is in the village of Varian, lying just a couple of miles inland from the dramatic Roseland Heritage coastline. At its heart is a coffee shop cum art gallery, a pretty village green, complete with a water feature, and there's also something that might be just the ticket for Roger.
This would be your local pub.
Lovely.
Fantastic. So what do you think of the area?
I like this area.
Well, the best thing about loving this area and this particular pub behind you is that it's 1 minute from your mystery house.
Oh.
And that's
Nice.
a 1 minute walk home. You can stroll home from here. Would you like to take a look?
Is that in a straight line?
Yeah, well, it depends how many you've had. Come on, let me show you. Come this way.
Oh, my gosh. That looks amazing.
Look at the stone.
You saved the best to last, haven't you?
Oh, dear.
I know you said you didn't want a new build.
Is that a new
This is actually a new build, just 2 years old.
Good Lord.
And
but they've used proper materials, haven't they?
it is absolutely in keeping with the area.
Oh, it's lovely.
I feel like you just race into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's not waste any time.
Brilliant.
With the looks of a well-established traditional property, it's hard to believe that this impressive modern mystery house is only 2 years old. Built from locally sourced Cornish stone, it offers generous living space across 3 floors and a side annex for B&B opportunities. It's also the biggest property we're presenting to Roger and Annie, offering some 3,400 square feet of living space. On the ground floor are 2 ensuite bedrooms and a utility room, as well as a completely self-contained 1-bedroom annex. With its fully fitted kitchen and seating area and a spacious double bedroom that has its own ensuite, this annex could be ideal for our couple to run as a holiday let business or simply an ideal place for Annie's visiting kids to stay. We're heading up another level to the 1st floor.
And into the main living space.
Oh my goodness.
Lovely. Really nice. Nice room. Lots of room.
You're speechless, Annie, from the
I'm
sound.
speechless, it's amazing. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I want to bite now, please.
The open-plan styling seamlessly flows from the kitchen diner through to the main sitting room.
This is another nice room.
Liking it?
Very comfortable.
I don't think I've ever been in a house with a more beautiful interior space. It is stunning. It is really beautiful.
Got your wood burner in here, lovely big space to get all the family in for entertaining, but still has that nice cosy feel, which again I know you're really after.
Yeah.
Slight concern on the outside space that the garden might be a hill. But the inside space, just absolutely divine.
This floor is also home to a study and an incredibly well-appointed master suite, featuring a freestanding bath in the bedroom as well as stylish ensuite. There are a total of 5 bedrooms. The 2 on the ground floor are both doubles and could be perfect for our couple to run as a B&B business, as each one has its own ensuite shower room. The remaining 2 bedrooms are on the top floor and both are served by a family bathroom. We're making our way to yet another potential master bedroom.
And onto the 3rd level of the house. This could be one of your master bedrooms.
Each room is huge, isn't it? They're large rooms.
You have 2 bedrooms on this floor and a Jack and Jill bathroom in between. There's also a gorgeous attic space, which the current owners have turned into a walk-in wardrobe. Which I thought would make someone particularly happy.
Yes, so I shall enjoy being in there.
The Mystery House seems to offer Roger and Annie everything they're looking for in their move to Cornwall. But will the garden be a sticking point?
This is the outdoor space for your property. So the owners decked this area. Below it, you have space to have a workroom, or you could store kayaks, outdoor equipment. Behind us, you can see the project that isn't quite finished because the owner thought this was going to be a forever house.
Yes.
This was the next project.
That's a heck of a project.
Too much of a project, or considering the house needs nothing to it?
Depends what the price is.
OK. What do you think this property is on the market for?
850, something like that.
OK, 850. Roger?
No, I don't think it's as high as that. I'll go 790.
790. Would it surprise you if I told you you're both over
Oh,
in your guesses?
yeah, it would surprise me.
Yes, that would surprise me.
This
this
property is on the market for £775,000.
That's incredible.
Shall I let you keep exploring?
Yes,
OK. Have a good look round. Make yourselves at home.
Although this mystery option is £25,000 over budget, Roger and Annie have said they would stretch themselves for a property with business opportunities. And this large, modern, detached house does deliver on space and has a separate annex which could be used for B&B. In addition, there are 5 double bedrooms, ideal for visiting family. All this and a central village location.
Oh, it's lovely.
That's a nice little
This is a
private
good
area.
space.
Self-contained, isn't it? Brilliant. I like that. When we got out onto the decking and looked at the garden, there was no grass, there were no birds. And it gave me the impression the whole thing was a massive project, and I'm not sure I've got the drive and energy to complete the beautiful job they've started.
The Mystery House it's amazing. It's given me an awful lot to think about. It's big, you know, the more we saw, the more I started to get a bit of a panic about, oh my goodness, is this too big for me? I think it feels much more suited to being run as a B&B, so that's scaring me a little at the moment, but oh, it's so lovely. I need to sleep on it and decide if I'm ready to make that shift, I think.
Annie's the driving force in the partnership. If she really wanted to take this on and do the bed and breakfast and that sort of stuff, I'd be happy down the pub.
Hello? Hello. Still smiling?
Still smiling.
Oh, huge grins.
Very nice.
OK, you've seen all 3.
Yep.
Shall we go and have a chat?
We do need
I think, yeah, it's time to talk. Come on.
Let's go.
Cornwall's unique position within the UK does give it certain advantages. Tucked away on the south coast, you'll find Treba Garden, one of the 12 great gardens of Cornwall. This beautiful 26-acre site is down to the hard graft of 19th century wealthy horticulturalist and Quaker Charles Fox. He used Treba as a private garden, and it contains over 5,000 plants and trees from around the world that flourish in this idyllic spot. From Asian and American conifers to Chinese bamboos, Treba's 100,000 plus visitors a year are promised a truly subtropical experience. Now owned and managed by the Treba Garden Trust, I've come to meet head gardener Darren Dickey to find out more.
Darren, you have so many varieties here that aren't native to the area. What is so special about this climate?
Well, we're very lucky to have, obviously, a very sort of mild winter climate. We're also very close to the sea, so we benefit from the Gulf Stream, so those warming waters. We have a south-facing aspect, which again is perfectly placed on a sunny day like today to draw in and trap that extra heat. So a combination of those things mean that we can grow a lot of plants you wouldn't necessarily see growing outside of Cornwall.
26 acres of garden, lots to explore. Have you got time to show me around?
Indeed, follow me.
Darren is taking me to see a tropical fern that's over 12,000 miles from its natural home in South Australia. The fronds or fern leaves often need cutting back to show off the plant in its best light.
So literally just get them in as tight as you can.
And Darren is letting me loose with the pruning shears.
If you want to start on this side, just stack
You
it on the
made it
bank.
look easy.
So,
Like...
you'll find it's not too bad, it's not too bad.
So, better?
So yeah, if you get it nice and tight, that's ideal.
OK. Oh, wow.
So they're surprisingly soft. You
Yeah.
think of them as being quite woody, but they've actually got a sort of quite a soft pith in there. Because the tree ferns basically absorb water and store moisture, they're really easy just to trim off.
Right, so
Wanna go for another one?
nice and low?
Yeah, nice and low.
Straight through?
Yeah, ideal.
Wow.
Maintaining a garden like this is non-stop. We're on our way to finish off a plant bed that Darren has been preparing for Treba's bamboo collection.
Why does the bamboo grow so well in this garden?
It likes a certain amount of moisture. It doesn't like to sit in the wet, but it'll like a reasonable amount of moisture around its roots through the summer months. So that's why they do so well in Cornwall.
We're set to add the final plant to the bed.
We'll just knock it out of the pot. This one itself is probably just about at the perfect stage. It hasn't got too root bound. If you want to grab the spade,
OK.
the other thing you need to make sure is that the plant itself is at roughly the same level as the soil. So if you want to backfill in around, this is a really good mixture of compost and soil. The plant should establish really well.
Darren, thank you so much for showing us around Treba, and I look forward to coming back and seeing how she's doing soon.
It's my pleasure. You're welcome.
So Roger and Annie have had a little time to consider all three of those great properties. I can't wait to find out what their next step is going to be. Annie, Roger, it's good to see you. So where are we at now in this house search? We've seen three gorgeous properties. How are you feeling?
I think probably the mind's all over the place, to be fair.
It is.
Because there was bits of each of us in all three. I loved the first one with its view, Annie loved the second one with its history, and the skill that went into the third one was fantastic. So as choices for us, those three properties couldn't have been better. But it's like the start of the search for us in Cornwall, and we just wonder what else is out there.
And it wasn't enough in that mystery house of the interior close enough to some of those locations to tempt you?
I was ready to buy it. As we walked into the door, you know, through the door and the entrance, I would have signed the paperwork then. We went up into that kind of main kitchen and living area. I'm thinking, yes, this is it. I still want to buy it.
I think it was as we progressed further and I realised exactly how big it was and then saw how much work there was still to do. It was the garden. I think, you know, we do like a garden and I would struggle with that hilly bit.
So just too much of a project on the outside?
Yeah, that set the doubts in, oh, is it all too much? Is it a bit too big?
So are you feeling more confident about the move to Cornwall after a couple of days of house hunting?
It's really helped. Spending the time with you and seeing these properties and meeting the people down here has really clarified that this is definitely the place we'd like to be.
Well, it sounds like we've definitely given you a lot to think about, and I wish you continued success in the house hunt. And I look forward to sharing a Cornish cream tea and a Cornish pasty with you soon at yours.
Indeed. Thank you very much for all your help this week. It's been lovely.
Well, come rain or shine, I really can see why Annie and Roger have fallen in